thought it'd be really good to bring you some of the awesome clients that I've worked with in this series so that you can hear a little bit more about them, what they do, and also so that you can hear what it's like to work with me and some of the results that we've been able to generate since these clients have been working with me. I'm really excited to introduce Seonaidh Jamieson to you today. She's going to share exactly what it's been like to work with me over the last couple of months and a bit more about what she does in her multiple businesses and how that can help you too as an equine business owner. Enjoy this episode. So if you were to explain your business to other people and like what you do, what would you say, Seonaidh?
So I have a few different things that I do. And the way I summarize all of it is I help people do hard things with their body. And that is on the mat, on the pole, at work, and everywhere in between. So whether it's struggling to get moving in the first place, whether it's struggling to nail that pole trick, whether it's struggling to stay injury-free at work, that is what I do. I absolutely love bodies, anatomy, and everything attached to it. So my life is geared around helping people move better and do stuff they didn't think they could do. Because, well, it's just really fun, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think we always get a bit sort of stiff and everything else. I know I'm terrible, like mucking out and stuff lately has just done me in. So I probably need you more than ever at the moment. But of course, we've been working together. We've been working together for a couple of months. So what would you say has been the best thing about working with me?
So I think the best thing is when I was definitely having a bit of a bubble, you just came and you're like, this is what you need. This is it. And we had an energy clearing session. Is that what they're called? So I realize I've got oracle cards sitting behind me. So I can't say that I'm not kind of that way inclined, but I do have like a sciencey background. And I've been increasingly finding myself kind of going for more alternative ways of doing things and far more open-minded. So things like hypnotherapy keep cropping up. But this was the first time I'd done any kind of energy clearing. And I loved the whole process because we went through kind of a few questions to work out what I needed to do the most. And it was all about self-trust. And just the actual exercise itself, I felt the point where everything just kind of clicked into place. And I was like, of course I can trust myself. And I can't really put it into... It was a really weird thing. I had all this kind of anxiousness around depending on myself to do, just sitting with the thoughts, sitting with the feelings, doing the work that Jenny had given me in the session. And it just kind of clicked. And I was like, well, of course I can trust myself. Look at all of these things I've already done. And then the self-care and then the kind of looking after yourself afterwards was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it always helps, doesn't it? It always helps. And I think it's one we get so stuck in our own mind and we've got, and energy just really, really matters. And it's so easy to get stuck, even if it's a past pattern and it can repeat itself. We don't really know why it's happening. So it's
completely.
Really, really good to sort of run that through. And like, what have you noticed since we did that? What has there been any changes or any results since we ran through that?
I think I'm actually just letting go of things better. I'm not feeling like I need to micromanage every single thing that I'm doing to like compensate for myself because I know I'll come back to it. I know I'll do it when it matters. And actually just that trust that, you know what, so I've been for a 2-hour walk with a friend 2:45 on a Thursday, and I have to say I've done minimal work, but that's fine because I know I'm going to work into the evening a little bit. I'm going to catch up. Before I would have felt guilty the whole time I was on this walk, but now I'm like, no, like you'll get to it. Yeah. Like it's fine, you'll do it. And actually kind of trusting my expertise a bit more. So I had this live with a friend of mine who were collaborating in early December. And we did a live to promote this workshop we're running. I did no prep for it because I didn't need to. Because I knew. Yeah, I knew I could just turn up and it's my life, it's my job. I knew I could deliver. I do all of the hard work behind the scenes so that when I need to, I can just show up. And it was that trusting yourself to just show up and actually leaning into the fact that's where I work best. Yeah. I've always felt a little, I don't know if how you are with things, Jenny, but I don't tend to prepare that much.
Yeah. I'm very as it flows. Yeah, probably notice that my content as it flows through me is when it comes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my life strategy has been winging it.
Yeah.
And I used to think there was something wrong with that. Like, I really thought, like, oh, well, I must be doing something not right if I'm not planning ahead, if I'm not doing this. But now I'm like, I'm really good at winging it.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where it's not winging it because I know what I'm doing. And I can just
Well, I think I've shared with you on the call, one of the things that I've had that came down as like a download to me last year was to stop, just allow it to go through me rather than like as me. I don't have to do anything. I just need to allow it to flow. And that, I think that was one of the things that you found from that work, that it did give you permission to do the same.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And I think, I mean, in this call on Tuesday on this Instagram Live, I said some things that I was like, damn, that was insightful. Because I didn't overcook it. And I very much, I process externally, I process by talking. And I can do that on lives with other professionals and actually pull out like different details, different opinions. I'm like, this is cool. Yeah. And I can trust in those abilities, which before I wouldn't have been able to put my finger on what it is I'm good at and what it is I do. But now I'm a bit more like, oh, that's the thing I'm good at. Okay, let's lean into them.
The super powerful things that we've been doing through the work, and especially when I bring in the energy clearing stuff, is it does, I have noticed, it just allows people to have permission to just fully be them and to step forward. So did you have any, like, before you started working with me, because I think we're looking back in like August time, I think you joined my Nail It program. So did you have any reservations before joining?
No, so I've followed you for a long time and I really liked everything that you've put out there. And like, I trust your judgment and I like the way you come across. And you've got enough of a different slant from me that I knew that I wouldn't just be in an echo chamber. And I knew that you'd challenge me on things if I was doing something ridiculous. And I need that. I need people who can provide a bit of kind of feedback that isn't just, yeah, that's a great idea. Because every idea I have, I think is a great idea. They're not all. Like, definitely not. I definitely need someone there who can be like, okay, let's just think about this for a minute. And then I do, and I'm like, yeah, I probably don't want to buy a bunch of camels. It's a really bad idea. So actually having that like space to think. And when I started with you, I was really looking for structure, because I didn't feel like I had any. And since then, my work life has changed. So now I've got structure by deadline, which works well for me. But when it comes to kind of steady state and the kind of ticking over and that kind of acknowledgement of the passage of time and the acknowledgement that I have been moving towards my goals, that is exactly what I needed. I am a skittle knocker and I want projects, but not everything in a business is one and done. There's a lot of stuff that you need to keep coming back to. And I'm sure like a lot of self-employed people, I love novelty. Yeah. So the novelty is easy, but I need help with doing the work behind the scenes, the consistency and the kind of making the less fun stuff more fun. And I think with the social media and the way that you do the mentoring and the co-working, it meant I had a place to go with the tasks I struggle with. Yeah. So I could get some help with them and get that kind of, okay, there's other people here who are struggling too. And that is definitely what I needed. Since then, my entire business has just gone a bit crazy and I've got that structure by deadline. But without a structure by deadline, I need support from other people. Yeah. And that's exactly what I get from you.
That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, which is good because it's nice to hear because it's what I aim for. I like to give a little bit of structure, but not so rigid that it doesn't fit, because I know everybody's in different places and in different spaces, and I want it to be a safe space to get what you need. And so that's why it's just quite sort of free flow. There's co-working, there's the mentoring sessions, and then of course I've pop in and do the one-to-one if you need it, just to make sure that everybody gets what they need. So that's really good. So if somebody was looking at what I do and looking to perhaps work with me, like, what would your advice be to them?
I would say do it, because of the change to my business, I didn't manage to use all of the resources as much as I would have liked. Yeah. So I definitely have a little bit of me that's like, I just didn't quite get my teeth in there because of other things that came up, which life happens. There is a lot in there. And it's one of those sort of balance things that I struggle with, because there is a lot of information, but I want people not to feel overwhelmed or feel that they've got to do it all, but more they take what they need. Yeah.
And
that's what
Yeah.
That's what I was able to do. I was able to pull things, the different templates, the different systems. I could pull those out and I'm still using them, even though I'm in a different place with my business. And it just really gave me that, so that working on your own is quite lonely. And actually having someone else's thinking and having someone else's support just was quite nice. Like now I'm quite fortunate. I have like a proper business partner. I own a business with someone else for the first time. And I've got a lot more support in that sense than I had before. And it's amazing how much of a difference actually having someone who knows your business, who knows you, who you can just lean on a little bit, especially if you're like hormonal, tired, stressed, whatever, and just having a bit of a like, oh my God, I might just get a job.
Yeah.
Because if someone messaged you saying, are you considering, I'm thinking of getting a job, I'm sure you'd be straight on Zoom to them like, what is going on? Are you okay?
Yeah, we've had a few of those and just like, I'm quitting, I'm done. We have all the tears, all the tantrums, and I just help people to get clarity. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to go off and get a job, but help you to actually make that decision from a place of groundedness rather than from emotional, I've just had enough.
Yeah, rather than from a reactive place.
The strategy to cope and again, I think it's where the energy clearing really, really helps in those moments.
Yeah, and I just loved it. I mean, I quite enjoy having a bit of time that someone else holds for me. So in my job, I do a lot of things one-to-one with people, and I spend a lot of time thinking about how the people are moving, thinking all of this kind of stuff, and actually having someone do that for me was like, oh, I get to just sit and enjoy this. I'm not managing it. I'm not directing it. I can just exist. I just do as I'm told.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like the best kind of self-care there is.
Yeah. One of the things that I aim to, like horses, they're really good mirrors. And I think that's what coaching can do as well. It can just help you just to mirror back those things that you need to. And a good coach will help you to see that. And then that's how you get the clarity.
Yeah. And it was, it's just, I really enjoyed it. And I don't know how it works, but at this point, I don't care how it works because it is just that nice bit of clarity. And whether that's from internal process, again, I've got a science background. I want to explain everything. I want to understand it. But with this, we're just not at a point where this is being researched yet. So we probably won't understand it for a while, but like leaning into it and experiencing it and actually just letting myself get unstuck has made a huge difference. So we had one session about self-trust. And since then, I've just felt more reliable to myself. I know that if something matters to me, I will do it.
Yeah.
And I've never really felt like that before. I've never felt like I'll show up for myself.
And what do you feel like going forwards? Like, what do you feel going forward from that in the future? Like, what do you feel that your future holds following our work together?
And interestingly, I feel like I've got more patience with things because I trust myself. I don't need to do everything now. I can, put things on my to-do list. I can let them percolate. I can come back to them. And I know that I'll do a good job whenever I come back to them. So I've got a few different plates spinning. Who doesn't? Who's self-employed, let's be honest. And I can cycle through them. And I can go, I'm going to work on this today. I'm going to work on that today. And I feel more relaxed about that because I'm not constantly trying to hold everything in my memory because I know I'll get it back when I need it. And I've never felt like that. I've always tried to keep everything in my mind all the time. Yeah. And that doesn't work.
You're worrying about that fear of losing all these losing. And I often say to people, no, you just got to trust that it's there and it will come up at the right moments. And yeah.
Precisely. I mean, I find it hilarious that one of my things is trusting myself. When my approach to exams at school and uni was I would kind of read past papers, I would do bits here and there, but I didn't stress about the exam because I was like, well, the question's going to prompt things that I'm not thinking about now. And I trusted that it was there then, but that hadn't translated over to my business life. And I feel like that kind of trust I had in my academic skills and my ability to pass exams, I've kind of started bringing that over into my business life. And I'm trusting that I can make things happen.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice place to be.
And I guess it comes from that element, like you said earlier, right? You just felt like you were winging it. And And so that kind of then erodes your trust a little bit and makes you feel like there's something maybe you're missing, or maybe you're not getting it right. And unfortunately, we're bombarded by a lot of message online that says, oh, you need to do this, or you're doing this wrong, or you're doing that wrong. And then there's all everybody else's opinions, and then there's all that self-doubt and everything else that goes on in the background. So
I think one of the most profound things is that I'm not winging it. I'm actually very prepared.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I have a great understanding of the subjects I work in. And I know that now. I can trust it. I can lean into it, which I didn't before the energy clearing session.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said that out loud without being apologetic.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, no, I know this. I've done the work. You know, I've got 12 years working in the sector. Of course I can talk to people without a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of knowledge in here.
Yeah.
When I need stuff, it'll come out. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so it's not winging it.
Yeah, from that self, it just allows it to flow then, doesn't it? Whereas before, that blocking just, caused some
completely. And also there's that comparisonitis. So my business partner who I run one of the companies with, she prepares everything to the nth degree. That's how she works. That's how she likes to work. So if we're filming something on camera, she wants to have a prompter. That's how she feels safe. I turn up with a couple of bullet points on a bit of paper that I don't really look at. And there's a real thing where I'm like, oh, wow, she's so organized. And I'm sitting there with my bullet points. But there was a great thing with two comedians. I can't remember one of their names, but one of them was Andy Samberg. And Andy Samberg had a load of props. And the other guy was like, oh, God, he's got props. Like, why do I not have props? And Andy Samberg was like, oh, my God, he doesn't have any props. Why do I need props? And I think it's actually seeing that and how it reflects the people I work with day to day. Because she wants a prompter. That's how she works best. I need basalt. That's how I work best. And actually trusting that's okay. And that neither approach is worse or better, just different. And actually trusting to just stay in my own lane. Because I know that all of us in business do this a lot. What do they do?
Yeah.
Like the business equivalent of doom scrolling, looking at all of your competitors and not from a place of market research. And it's kind of given me confidence to just unfollow some people who I find a bit triggering and get on with my own stuff. Yeah. And follow some other people who I found a bit intimidating before because they were doing their own thing. And now I can appreciate that from a different vantage point because I'm like, nope, I can do my own thing. And it's changed how I have my website copy. I'm not holding back as much because I can be very animated and my website copy doesn't necessarily show that. It's been quite tame and quite reserved. And now I'm a bit like,
yeah, own it. Yeah, just like, yeah, be you.
If someone wanted a really like reserved personal trainer and they went through my website, they'd be gutted when they actually spoke to me. Yeah. So it's giving me all of this trust to actually just be myself in a very different way, and it's a very subtle change, but very profound. And I keep coming back to it and thinking about reasons I've got to trust myself. And it's quite cool. Like I have to admit, I was a bit skeptical beforehand. Yeah. Like my science brain struggles with this stuff sometimes, but the more I lean into it, the more I'm open to it, the better my life gets, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I say it's one of those things that it's not overly woo-woo, is it? When we run through it, it feels quite nice. It's almost just like taking some time just to yourself, just to focus inwards and see what comes out, and then to care for yourself afterwards, because it does it helps the energy to get unblocked and starts that flow and just makes such a massive difference. So grateful I've learned to do it. So
it's really cool. It's really cool, and it's definitely something I would recommend to anyone who's a bit stuck and they don't know why.
Yeah, brilliant.
Because it wasn't something I could put into words. It wasn't a problem I really realised I was struggling with.
Well, that's one of the things that I've been saying to people. A lot of the time, the symptoms that show up, we think it's something obvious. Like we can think, oh, I need to fix my marketing. And like, again, it could just be, it's nothing to do with your marketing. You've got a self-trust issue. And once you release that, you're then free to go and actually market in the way that you wanted to market in the first place. So again, it's about we go deeper so we can find what the real cause is and then unlock that and let it flow. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing to see how it's worked for you, Seonaidh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me today. So if anybody wanted to find out a little bit more about who you are and what you do, where would they need to go?
So my name is spelt like an absolute nightmare. So probably easiest to put my name in the description. But my name is Seonaidh Jamieson. As I said, I help people do difficult things with their bodies. So if you are moving, don't want to go to a gym, want the equipment for your life, you can find everything you need on my website, which is seonaidhjamieson.com. If you are an employer or you manage a team who needs some support with staying safe and physically healthy at work, Biomechanics at Work is the place for you. So I know a lot of you guys are going to be horse riders. I could help you guys as well. Mucking out doesn't need to kill all of our backs. There are things we can do to make it less heavy on our body, but we don't lose out on efficiencies and the time that we need to save. So it's realistic advice. I'm not expecting you to, take a break and a stretch every 5 minutes. We're going to work with your body in real time.
I think it's so important for us CEO questions that we do actually take the time to evaluate how we're doing things, because ultimately, if we break our bodies, we don't get to enjoy our horses.
Completely. And, I will always remember in about 2016, someone said to me, well, I'm a horse rider. Of course I have a sore back. No, we don't need to have back pain. So if you are a horse rider who has back pain, if you have yard staff who complain about aches and pains, just get in touch. And if you're a pole dancer, that's the last thing I do. That's the pole company, strength and conditioning for pole dancers, because, who needs one industry? But it's all bodies. Yeah. So, it's different applications.
Yeah. And it's embracing all of those parts of you. Why, you're not somebody that needs to be fitted into one box. You've got, multiple, and just go and own that and trust it.
I think it's less of a box and more of like a run outside. I don't know. But yeah, so I do a mixture of things, but it's all about bodies. And I love nothing more than someone who's got a weird problem. So if you have a weird problem with your body, with like struggling to move, reach out. That's my happy place.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Seonaidh. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So I hope you enjoyed that and it's helped you. So if you want to find out more about Seonaidh, I will pop the links into the description so you can go and check her out now. Or if you'd like to find out more about how to work with me, all you need to do is head to jennybush.com, and I will see you really soon. Take care.